Hi guys, welcome to Cheryl's Home Cooking. So let's get started. Welcome to Cheryl's Home Cooking, and today what I'm going to show you is how I make my homemade apple crumb pie. So let's get started. So I have my oven preheated at 375. In the bowl in front of me I'll place 3/4 cup of flour, a 1/2 cup of the old-fashioned oats, a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, a pinch of salt. Now I'll place 5 tablespoons of butter. This butter is cold, so I'll slice it up into pieces and then place that in my mixture. So I'm just taking my butter and slicing it, making little chunks. I'll place it inside. This apple crumb cake is really good. The last of the butter. So now I put some gloves on. I'll take all my ingredients and make like a crumble. Then I'll place it in my fridge for about a 1/2 hour. You want this nice and cold. So as I'm doing this, I'm taking the butter and kind of smushing it a little bit so it gets absorbed into the flour, the oatmeal, the brown sugar. So you just want like crumbs. That's what it looks like. So now I'll place this in my fridge for about a 1/2 hour. I want it nice and cold. For the ingredients for my apple crumb pie, I have 8 Granny Smith apples that I peeled, cored, and sliced. I placed a little bit of lemon juice in here to kind of help it so it doesn't turn brown. So in my bowl, I'll place a 1/3 cup of sugar. I'll take the apples. I'll take 1 tablespoon of this lemon juice, place it on top. So now I'll mix the sugar over the apples. I'll switch it back into this bowl. So now that all the sugar is absorbed into the apples, I'll just leave this off to the side for about 10 minutes. So in my bowl, I'm going to place 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. There's 1. There's 2. Pinch of salt. along with 1 tablespoon of sugar. Just mix this all together. So now I'll take the cornstarch, the salt, and the sugar, and I'll place it on top of my apples. Mix it in. Take the rest of it. That's good. So now in my pie plate, I'll take one pie crust. So my oven's at 375 and you'll bake this for about 35 minutes. I'll roll out the dough. If the pie crust breaks apart, just kind of pinch it back together. I'll place it in my pie plate. This apple crumb pie is really good. Now I'll place my apples on top. So I'll place my apples in. This is going to be so good. So you want to bake this until the juices bubble and thicken around the edges. So it's about 35 minutes, but keep an eye on it. So into the oven it goes. Now that my apple crumb pie has been in the oven for 15 minutes, I'm going to take it out of the oven. I'll place it on top of my cutting board. You can see the juices underneath. My crumb mixture has been in the fridge for a half hour. My pie has been baking for 15 minutes. So now I'm going to take the mixture and place it on top, covering the apples. That's going to be perfect. After your apple crumb pie has been in your oven for 35 minutes, you want to bake this until the juices are bubbly and thick all around the edges. That's when you know it's done. Then I'll let this rest for 1 hour before I serve it. So back into the oven it goes. It's time to take my apple crumb pie out of the oven. Oh yeah. Look at how good this looks. That came out perfect. You can see all the juices bubbling up and flowing over. Ooh, this is really going to be good. So I have to let this sit for an hour before I serve it. And I'll be taking this pie over to my friend's house and we'll be having apple crumb pie and coffee. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Cheryl's Home Cooking and watch me make my homemade apple crumb pie. I'll see you guys next video. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Cheryl's Home Cooking. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye-bye.